Good morning. How is everybody? How are all six of you? Um, it's been a weird one. Um, it's been a weird few days and good morning. Hi. Hi everybody. So, I want to know how everybody is doing because it's been a weird one. Um, and you know, I just got a few things to go through. This is just going to be me spitballing about a bunch of different shit um, that pisses me off. But how is everybody? Fiend, how you doing, bud? Hey, Brian. Hi, Candy. Aw, Critical Truth. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's afternoon. Jesus Christ. Okay. Woo. All right. Hey, girl. Exhausted. Yeah. That part. Yes. Good morning. I too am very sad about the state of America, and I think we need to talk about it. um, Good morning, because it does feel heavy. Yeah, it's been a really look. It's been a long year. It's been a long year. So I'm in my bedroom because my cat will not if I leave this room, she's going to be bugging the shit out of me. So, um, anyway, it's been a long year, right? Uh, oh God, if this is your first time catching a live, oh, thank you. It's black. Uh, Buckle up, hang on to your butts, because I am fucking over it. So obviously, let me start off with what really got me going this morning. Now, I welcome all people's opinion. I welcome reasoned commentary. What I will not stand for, however, is any bigoted, xenophobic bullshit. That I won't tolerate. So there are no warnings here. There's just yeeted. Because I'm at that point in my life, and I think that truly, it may sound histrionic, but it's not. I think we're just at that. I'm at that point in my life as an American citizen where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. It's just got to be the truth now. There's a very narrow road for me ahead in dealing with people who support fascism, and that's where we are. It's truly where we are, and we've been there for a while. But now that everybody's on board, you can leave now. But again, I do welcome open conversation. But again, you're not going to find any safe harbor here for your fascist bullshit. And that again is exactly what's happening. We see with the this morning with the Fed chair being under investigation because a lawless felon is running the country. And unfortunately, when we talk, so when I think about this through the lens of like true crime, which is kind of what happened to me on here, I got involved in the Delphi case because Murder Sheet were so terrible at their fucking job and such huge ass liars, right? And nobody really said, everybody was kind of hands off on that. And because Murder Sheet are litigious pricks and they come after people. And the thing is that no, fuck it. That's how I got involved in this true crime community. My reporting over the years has been about crime, whether it's sexual assault, whether it's misuse of federal funds, whatever it is. there's always a legal aspect to my reporting. There's always a criminal aspect. It's not just murder that is criminal. So all of this to say is that when I think about what is happening right now, the state of media in the United States, in the, from a Western frame, is failing and has been failing for so long. And letting people lie and lie and lie to your face. And obviously, I think that most people of sound mind could look at Minneapolis last week, and see that there was no justification for the murder of Renee Good. And I call it murder. Time will tell. But and so sorry. Fuck it, I'm 70. Yeah, I feel that. But I think, for me, Delphi has always been for me about the rule of law. And I think people know that, right? And so people know that, and it's been about the reporting, it's been about all of that, but at its core, it's about the due process of law and the way that assholes twist and turn it. Like I said, fucking Murder Sheet, the prosecutor's podcast, just straight lying about shit, just lying and straw manning with all of the ease of the fucking entitled, right? It's a microcosm of what happens when bullshit gets allowed to run riot. So taking Renee Good, and keep in mind, she is just the latest person that ISIS has killed or who have died in ISIS custody. Now, this is tale as old as time. This has been going on for a very long time in the United States. This is not something that is unique to this asshole, adjudicated rapist felon who was elected as president, and he is an adjudicated rapist. Look it up in civil courts. So, and people want to say that, he's not a felon, he's not an adjudicated rapist. I'm of the point where it's like the law is the law. They're making it up. They're yanking it away from us and from you, right? So this morning I started out by looking at and seeing online, and maybe some of you saw it. I don't know. This, which I was like, this has to be a joke. Let me just bring it onto the stage. Have y'all seen this? Have you seen this? Yes. You know what? Absolute DHS agents aren't supposed to shoot at vehicles to stop them. Right. The agent does not have legal protection, right? For him, is there a funding campaign? I mean, for what? What does he need money for? I'm not kidding. I'm actually asking. Can anybody tell me what that is? Because I don't know what he would need money for. I don't know. But what is it for, though, Fig? Does anybody know? Anyway. Oh, is that how? Okay. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing is that no. So this interesting message. Has anybody, but let's move to this all important, very, very serious breaking news from the LA County Sheriff Department. Have people seen this? The issuance of a statement by, let me just take this off for a minute. Apparently, I saw this on Twitter this morning, and it goes something like this. And I was like, certainly this is crazy. Message from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. The department is aware and deeply concerned about an incident occurred at a local coffee shop in the city of Norwalk on Friday, January 9th, in which a deputy who had stopped for coffee was deliberately served a cup bearing a hand-drawn image of a pig, which is commonly used to demean law enforcement. This action was extremely offensive, inappropriate, and unacceptable. The deputy quickly reported the incident to the store manager, who advised that the matter would be investigated. Upon learning about this incident from the sheriff, immediately escalated the matter and contacted the individual in the company's corporate security division to formally raise concerns to ensure accountability. In addition, the sheriff spoke directly with the deputy to check on his well-being, convey his full support, and make it clear that disrespectful actions will not be tolerated against our personnel. Our deputies serve this community with professionalism, dedication, and commitment, often under difficult and dangerous circumstances. Our deputies are part of the community and deserve to be treated respectfully and with basic human dignity. Acts that promote hostility and division toward law enforcement undermine the community trust and public safety. Are you fucking kidding me? Sir? And I was like, certainly this is a joke. Certainly this is a fucking joke, right? I mean, right? And so I was like, internet, tell me if this is true, because holy crap. Hold on. And I was like, let's see. Hang on. I was like, no, there can't possibly be. This can't possibly be a thing, right? But hey-o, it sure is. Yeah, it sure is. This is from, let's see, what's the date on this, Mother Scratcher? Oh God, it was from today. Breaking news. Now, if anybody knows anything about the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, you know that they are garbage. And if you, I'm going to put a name in chat, Jessica Pishko. She writes a sheriff Substack. She writes about sheriffs, and she and I have talked a lot about the sovereignty of the county, and she's done a lot of work on LA County, and woo. So, this breaking news really, really upset me, right? Because I'm like, but look at that, right? A sheriff's deputy said he felt discouraged by the action that left him feeling discouraged and uneasy. What? First of all, who wrote that cut line? Formally raise concerns and ensure accountability. Really? Wow. Really? So if that's it, if that is enough to escalate a complaint because somebody's butt got hurt by an adorable and fetching picture of a goddamn pig, which are one of the smartest animals. So the fucking nuts on these guys, right? The balls on these idiots to even post this ludicrous message. It's like, have you seen this country? Do you have any idea what the fuck is going on right now? Because to me, this is ridiculous. I mean, I agree. If he's that sensitive, he needs a new career and doesn't need to possess a firearm. Fucking A right. Did they make it up? I mean, because the thing is like, yeah, I don't go on the Facebook. I don't go on that bullshit. It's, yeah. People are literally dying here. Yeah. A lot of them. I'm not, and I've not been. Wait, what is this about? Am I missing something? What is even worse is a judge signed off an arrest warrant and said she didn't read what she was signing. Oh no. Let's see. You have a pig? Oh, Brian. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm like, wow. Yo. Hang on. So I know that there's a lot. So let me just bring it back to my the lying liars who lie, which is sort of the theme of this for me, is to me, the hour is late, folks. Woo, I'm tiny. The hour's pretty late. And I think that people, and so I really do think that there are some analogs here to people who are interested in the Richard Allen case, because it is a failure of media, a failure of law enforcement, or a failure of the rule of law to apply equally and to actually mean something. And so what we're seeing in Minneapolis and what we saw with and what we've seen in Chicago, what we've seen to a lesser degree here in New York, what Portland's been going through, LA, all these places where basically Proud Boys are being given uniforms. And I'm not kidding. These people are literally right-wing nationalist pieces of trash. And if you get a second and want to tear your own hair out, I'm going to put this in the chat. Bellingcat. If you don't follow Bellingcat, you should, because they're doing some great work right now. If we could take, could you imagine? Oh my God. And they could eat all the dead bodies too, Fiend. Hi, Royal Wheat. So, but I'm actually not joking about the Proud Boy stuff. But so if it's enough for the totality of the LA Sheriff's Department to get their feelings hurt by and it was a great drawing, actually. I mean, it could have been worse, right? It could have been horrible. It seemed like a perfectly friendly pig. So what we see in Minneapolis and what we see happening across these cities, and I'm going to sort of put this up here. Oh, I thought I had it. Damn it. Let me see. There's it's not just Renee Good. It's not, she's not the first one. And I wanted to bring up a list of people who have died either in ICE custody or killed by ICE. Let's see if I have it in my folder. Oh man, I guess maybe I don't. Oh, there it is. Open. Let me see if is this the list. Okay. This, I don't know why it's so little. Sorry, I don't understand why so tiny. But it's a list of God damn it. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why I can't make this larger. Let me remove it. But it's a list of all the people that have been killed in ICE custody. And the thing that were killed by agents, and I think that there may have been another one yesterday in St. Paul. It's not sure, not clear. As far as the schools, I don't know if they've reopened. You know, I think that people really underestimate the amount of disruption this causes for, I mean, aside from all the murdering and all the breaking state and federal laws that ICE is doing and all their photo ops and all the bullshit, it is decidedly making everyone less safe. Kids can't go to school. Some kids are opting to go remotely. And yeah. And so, yeah, then you're absolutely right. And this is just from last year, right? So this goes back. This is not, look, it's not just the Trump administration. But what I will say is that, man, oh man, this guy has taken it to another level. And, you know, so there's mostly black and brown folks, because of course, right? That's always the way this shit goes. I think that, at least for me, what was different about the broad daylight shooting of Renee Good was that it was so brazen that right? First of all, that when the cops jumped out of the car, and I know everybody's probably seen the video, we don't need to watch it again, even though everybody should make themselves watch it, because this is what's going on in our name, right? This is what's being funded by the United States government, is dragging people out of their goddamn cars. Put this up here. Also, remember, Kristi Noem shot her dog, Cricket. And this was at a rally, right? Don't believe a puppy killer. What did we think we were going to get? And yes, you're absolutely right. It is terrorism. It's absolutely terrorism. And so I've thought about the events around the Renee Good killing, and you know, I don't know why people are asking me, but they are, which is fine, about state law versus federal law versus jurisdiction over these ICE agents. And, you know, this idiot, Sling Blade eyeliner, coming on and saying that the cop had absolute immunity. That's not true. There's no such thing, sir. Sorry, you horrible Teddy Ruxpin POS. You shitty shit bag. Go find a couch and leave the rest of us alone. So where was I going with this? Oh, the immunity thing. No, here's the deal, is that the mayor and Minneapolis and the governor have both made statements. Now I'm growing impatient with them now. Because if you've been watching the news or watching your independent reporters or wherever you consume your information, there is outcry by DAs, sheriff's departments, other things where DAs and even mayors from different cities, governors from different states are coming forward and saying that if you come here, you will be prosecuted if you do something illegal, right? So it is possible. that Minneapolis law enforcement can arrest an ICE agent. And I was having a chat with my kid, who's a grown-ass woman, but she lives in Twin Cities. I'm from the Midwest. And, you know, I give her very basic instructions. If a cop, if any cop, I mean, shit, man, it's even worse. It's the worst for women of color, but it's bad for women. My direction to her has always been, if there's flashing lights in your background, in the back of you, you continue slowly with your hazards on to a lighted, preferably populated place, right? So that's okay. That's actually something that good law enforcement agencies will recognize is okay. I'm making the world's slowest escape. And guess what? They can't shoot into your car. So when I'm thinking about the Renee Good killing, and I roll the tape in my head, you have these two jacked up assholes in cosplaying as desert warriors jump out of a truck. Not even the guy that shot him. Jumping out of the truck, running over to her car and grabbing the handle and saying, "Open the fucking door." Sir? Here's our first point of contact where no law enforcement can enter your car or without your consent. And so the direction I was giving my kid was like, if you're approached by a cop and you just happen to be, you know, whatever you're doing, you sit in the car and you don't say a fucking word. Keep your trap shut. You have an absolute right to silence. Don't let them twist your words. Don't whatever. Now, they're breaking windows, right? So they're breaking windows and pulling people out of their cars. This is the world we're living in. But legally, that asshole who jumped out of the truck and went over and screamed at Ms. Good, "Get the fuck out of the car," was an immediate escalation. That was an escalation. So he came in loaded for bear and made the situation worse. So this is even before the fucking idiot who shot her comes into frame, right? Oh, by the way, did you guys know that the shooter was an Indiana National Guardsman? So get cranking on that. So what the fuck? If some fucking guy, I don't give a shit if you're law enforcement and you come running towards me and try to open my fucking car door and get my car. No, first of all, you don't have a goddamn right to do that. So get the fuck off me, bitch. No, there's illegal search and like, you can't do that without permission or a fucking judicial warrant, and not one of these fucking bullshit warrants that these idiots are carrying around that are unsigned. So first of all, I think that Miss Good reacted in a way that was entirely appropriate by looking at him and saying, "Hey, dude, it's good. I'm not mad at you." Right? So the other thing that I noticed in the initial videos, you know, in New York, we don't have cars, but I've done my fair share of driving. And you know how, if you're going to make a right turn, how do you hold your arm on the steering wheel? I'm trying to look around to see if I have anything that even remotely looks like a steering wheel. I do not. So how do you make a right turn? I put my hand on top of the wheel and get ready to crank it. Alternatively, if I'm deciding to turn into a police officer to the left of me, I'm going to have my hand underneath the wheel so I can crank it towards them. Watch the video. I mean, this woman is a Midwest driver in the snow. She's got her hand on top. Blurk. Okay? You do not draw your weapon. She was in the process of getting out of the way. And they shot her. They shot her and they killed her. And so what happened after that? What happened after that? And when we think about state crime, I'm like, God, there's got to be a state crime here, right? That this motherfucker can be arrested on and cannot be pardoned, because the president cannot pardon state crimes, right? So we got to remember that, because everybody that got pardoned from January 6th is now working for ICE. So afterwards, after calling her in the subsequent video that they're trying to say shows that she plowed him over, no, bitch. No, bitch. That's not what happened. He had his camera in one hand and fucking shot her straight through and then to the side. So 3 times. That's a triple tap in Pete Hegseth terms. If we're going to be making extrajudicial killings in international fucking waters, it's all the same shit. They don't have respect for the rule of law. They don't care. This is the plan, right? This is the plan. So after he shoots her, calls her a fucking bitch. Everybody, every woman I know, and every man that I know, they know that sound. They know that sound said, fucking bitch. You won't suck my dick? Fucking bitch. Right? Don't want to go out with me? Fucking bitch. We all know that. So, fucking bitch is not going to be my first reaction if I have just discharged my weapon, unless I'm a see you next Tuesday POS little tiny rice stick chode. Chode. I said it. And what does that bitch do? What does that bitch do? He flees the screen. He flees the scene. He leaves the scene of what subsequently became an accident, right? Because the car rolled with her dead body. The car didn't move forward because she put her foot on the gas and pressed it. The car moved forward because she fucking was dead. So, and this is not it's not the first time ICE has left the scene of one of their kidnappings. They've left cars in the middle of the street before, which is also a crime. I mean, so pops 3 caps in her ass because he's a big man. Because he's a big man with a face mask on. And who was, again, cranks in the Indiana National Guard, 2004 to 2005. But anyway, after doing all of that, calling her a fucking bitch, he's spirited away. All of his house is basically cleared by from the reports, Homeland Security, because you got to cover up crime, right? And then after that, the rest of the assholes right there, the rest of the ICE assholes surround the place. And I know many of you who watch this have heard the doctor in the background saying, I'm a physician. Can I render aid? Can I check her pulse? No. Mm-mm. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't render aid to this human being who we just shot. And when the guy said, I'm a physician, I believe the response was something like, I don't fucking care. So then people are losing their fucking minds on the scene. And you know what? This is the portion. I don't even think I'm gonna get to Jake Tapper today because he's a fucking asshole bitch. But this is one of the things that really pissed me off was a talking popsicle stick with a goddamn wiglet on over at Fox News said in like the half hour after this woman is shot in cold blood that she was an immigration quote legal observer. And this fucking moron said, and we couldn't find her having a law degree. And I'm like, that sounds weird. What on earth could he possibly mean? What he meant was she is a trained observer, which is legal. I am a trained court observer. What you do, what organizations do is keep our eyes on the government because they work for us. And they need to be reminded that they work for us. So many organizations across the country train, certify, and verify court observers, detention observers, immigration operation observers. It is not something new. It is not a fucking vast left-wing conspiracy. These are organizations that provide pro bono legal services to the immigrant community who has been under attack and continue to be while they're going through the legal process. So Ms. Good was a part of an organization, and I believe the gentleman spoke out about it, who is the head of the organization. It's a longstanding immigrant aid and resource community that does absolutely trains rapid response. Because these people, folks, here's the thing. I mean, I wish people would start speaking the truth about what is happening here and what these, illegal aliens are doing. What these immigrants, asylum seekers, whatever they are going through the process that was put in place by our government. So, for example, when I go to court and I sit in the back of a room, and it's an immigration court, which is basically an administrative court, I know what to listen for because this administration has, by fiat, just with a little swippy swipe of a pen, said we can now pre-termit which is a fancy term for give the shit hook to anybody we want and take them to a third-party country. The third-party country du jour is Uganda. Most of these people, most of the people I observed were from Central or South America. Many, interestingly, were from Venezuela. So my job is to sit there and listen for this word pre-termission, because that's their new buzzword. They're looking to pre-termit these people. And these people, again, show up in this environment, in this climate. They show up because they still believe somehow in our criminal legal system. And they want to do things correctly. And you can fucking fight me on that because I've seen it. I have fucking seen it. And I have no idea why they keep showing up. Because God damn it. No. But they show up. They show up because they're told to do it and because they're told this is their legal recourse. Many of these people that I witness, and they go through them quickly. Many of the people I witness are asylum seekers. They're, it's everything you can think of. There was only one douchebag that actually got kicked out that I was like, yeah, you know what? I think he might have flouted the rules. But other than that, and that's okay. What's not okay is when, I can't even keep up with all the new rules of immigration court. And the thing is that it is a form of due process. People forget. Everybody, not just American citizens, have due process rights in the United States of fucking America. Everyone. So when they are breaking open the fucking windows on people's cars who are brown and dragging their asses out of them, that is a violation of due process. In addition to being inhumane and fucking I hope, God damn it, at some point, a crime that gets all of these people fucking shipped off to somewhere real bad for a real long time. So when they do that, they're violating the due process of law that is afforded to everybody, regardless of their fucking citizenship. Regardless of their citizenship. And I don't know if people know that or not. The U.S. Constitution provides that. It doesn't fucking matter. That's like Maduro, who they yanked out of Venezuela, who is arguably a piece of shit. He has goddamn... But the immigration courts and what they are trying... What I'm seeing on the streets is terrible, and people are getting killed. But what's happening in the courtrooms, and why I encourage people to try to find an organization and to get the training necessary to become, and you have to pass like a background check. And I'm like, hoping I'm back in background check. So you're vetted, you're trained. It's very organized and very long-standing groups that volunteer to do this work, because the due process gang that Murder Sheet gave such a bad name because they're fuckers, just absolute dickbags, actually that matters. And the thing is that more people need to make the connection between... I don't know how you can support due process of law for Mr. Allen and not support due process of law for a brown person in a car. That is not how I operate, so I don't fucking get it. What we are seeing happen on our streets are crimes being committed by the federal government, being left unchecked. I watched a video the other night, I can't remember. from, again, it was from St. Paul or Minneapolis somewhere. And it was a native couple, like indigenous, right? And I'm like, first of all, we're on their land. Probably illegal for DS. I can wear my tube top if I want to. So here's the thing. When this kid, and he was a kid, just randomly approached at a gas station. And so that's their new thing, is they're just approaching people at fucking gas stations. And hang on a second, let me see if I have a video. It's disturbing as fuck. But if you're up for it, I think that we should watch it. Yeah, it's totally racism. Of course it is, but it's worse, right? So it's white supremacy. And I don't mean that in just a traditional KKK sense. I mean that in the fucking eugenic sense. Let me see what you're saying. They don't think legal immigrants documentation is real either. Yeah, because they don't care. Because they don't care. They don't. And the fact is that those unsigned bullshit warrants that they're trying to show, that they're showing as like some sort of carte blanche to bust down people's doors, are not actually warrants. Yeah, absolutely. When I say America, I mean the totality. I mean all the Americas, right? None of this. So yeah. That's why I try to call it the United States. But you know, it's kind of like how I feel about Europe. It's a construct. Anyway, but the fuck was I talking about? I was looking at what you guys were saying. Oh, hi, woman. I'm super angry at what's happening. Yep. Yeah, me too. Right. I mean, but the thing is that it's not even, I suggest it's not even that they don't think, right? That they don't, the bottom line is that they don't care. And so, you know, I could show my US passport. I mean, are they going to shoot me in the face? I mean, there's a good chance. Why not? If I'm doing something that pisses them off, if I'm being calm in the face of their grrr, Proud Boy rage, yeah, they might. Happy to hear somebody speaking out about this topic. I live in Louisiana and feel no one here has a brain cell. Well, you know, I mean, approaching people. Hi, Miss So. Approaching people on the streets and at gas stations is crazy. I know a lot of brown people that were born here and have lived here for yes. It's not even profiling. It's a mandate. It's like, or anybody that gets in your way, right? Anybody that gets in your way. Doesn't matter what color they are. If they're fucking lesbian women, woo, all the better. We got one, boys. I mean, look, this is where we are. This is where we are. And so when I go and I feel helpless and hopeless oftentimes because I cannot not care. That is not who I am. It's not my DNA. It simply is not. So I had to get involved and volunteer. And what I can tell you is what's happening on the streets is fucking barbaric. What's happening in our courtrooms is, it's hard to gauge if it's worse or not. Right? Osbrook, American citizen, our magic words at the border. Doesn't matter. Huh? Magic words at the border. I don't look, when I travel, I use my Czech passport when I leave the country. Mm-mm. Well, number one, you get through the line quicker, but but yeah, it doesn't matter inside the country. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's pretty yeah. The poor, oh, what are you saying here, lady? My Miss Lady. The poor white people have been brainwashed. Yeah, it's fucking evil Teddy Ruxpin make eyeshadow. Couch fucker. This guy. Ew. Oh God, what a piece of shit. Ew. Look at him. Faster checkout. Got it. Nailed it. Couch boy. But you know, I think too that hopefully people start seeing throughout there is a thread here as to who is really in these ranks, in these I mean, they're paramilitary groups, right? Right. They're eating the cats and dogs. Yes. Yep. I know. White men don't work good like the men that come here temporarily. It's going to show. Right. I mean, here's the thing. It's like I said, when I was at court observing, there was only one dude that I was like, yeah, he didn't do anything for 3 years. he actually had been given the chances that and that's all I ask. That's all I think anybody in sort of this community that I have found in this weird fucking online space is asking for. Is this guy had a chance. He had 3 years to get his fucking shit together and he didn't. And so that one was like, all right, man, I don't know. Yeah. Right. But if somebody, California is so sorry for Reagan. Well, sure. Yeah, that's true too. So yeah. But again, remember who's in charge. Vance laughing at a preacher begging Trump for mercy. I've not seen it, but all I know is that, look, you can only trust your own eyes when I tell you this. But does anybody remember when J.D. Vance went and saw Pope Francis and then Pope Francis died the very next day? Look, people are saying, I'm not saying that J.D. Vance killed our beloved Papa Francesco. But what I am saying is the day after this gutless turd met with him, I don't know. I'm not saying it. Yes. Oh God, right. Well, yeah, exactly. That's right. um, so, but so just talking to my Minneapolis people and my friends. Now, do you want to watch a horribly fucking disturbing video? Um, Yale, not much of a law school. Uh-huh. DSH goons have absolute immunity. Ding, ding, ding. You know who else graduated from Yale? Fucking Timu, JD Vance, fucking old prosecutors podcast, dumbass who Trump one tried to appoint to the federal bench without having tried a case. Or maybe it was Yale, maybe it's the other one. Who knows? They're churning out some fart sniffers though. Big time fart sniffers. The difference is the Brits brought a head of lettuce as a response. I don't know what that means. I believe it. So now JD Vance has moved into my almost number. Well, I mean, Stephen Miller is going to always be at the apex of my my evil pyramid, but JD Vance is coming right up there. He's really found his stride in just straight gaslighting the country. And I do find it interesting that the Catholic National Register, think what you will of Catholics. I'm not here for that. I was raised Roman Catholic. I appreciate some of the church's social justice teachings, and that's that. I don't agree with a lot. But this idiot converted to Catholicism as an adult. Who does that? I mean, the only people I've known to do that are for marriage. His wife's a Hindu. Run, lady. But the Catholic Register came out and basically said, this guy is fucking whack. This is not what the church teaches about, immigrants. Look, again, I'm not here for talking smack about all the religions because they all suck. But I appreciate a well-written article by this idiot's chosen faith that takes his ass down a peg. So the horrible video. Let's see. This is from a friend of mine who used to live in Minneapolis. Let me remove this idiot. So this is really fucking disturbing. So federal agents descend on Minneapolis. All right. So this is from January 11th. So yesterday. And, here's the thing. Witnessing is not for everybody. Okay. Witnessing is a hard fucking job. And there's many, many ways that you as a human being or a citizen or whatever can help save your fellow man. You don't have to witness. You don't have to do that. That doesn't mean, there aren't other ways to speak up and get involved and speak truth to power. I, for better or worse, am a witnesser. And kind of have been obviously throughout my career. But not everybody's cut out for it, and that's okay because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot when I come home from, going to court. I can't, it takes it out of you. But it's my job. It's my job anyway. So all to say, if you got to look away, please look away. Okay. Because this is rough. And I'm only sharing it because a trusted friend of mine shared it on Blue Sky, not that scorched hellscape of the site. So let's see. Let me make sure. So you can, hang on. You guys can, has anybody seen this yet? Can you hear it? Can you hear this? You can hear it. Okay. So this dumb Meg is not my Minnesota friend, but this was linked. So this is this St. Paul? Hang on. Yeah, it's St. Paul. Okay, here we go. Can you guys, now can you guys hear it when I go full screen? You can hear it when it goes full screen, because I'm not sure if you can or not. But this is something I've been seeing. The sound quality is icky, but can you still at least hear it when I go full screen, because it's the visuals, right? It feels like it will be future America. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is it, folks. And I don't say that to be a Debbie Downer. I just say that because that's where I'm at. And I don't think that necessarily has to be a position of weakness. I think that gives me at least a position of power in resolve and in my resolve. That was a wambulance. Full screen. Let me try it again. Back up. One more. You go back there, I'm going to put you under arrest. One more. Back there. One more time. Back up. So, uh, so, yeah, uh, there's people that have been speculating that person is dead. To me, he looked limp, which limp in a way that certainly suggests that he was unconscious. Um, so how do people feel about that, right? How do people feel about that? I just saw it today. My question becomes, and this is something that I'm like, who do I call? Because the Minneapolis and St. Paul police can fucking do something about this. They can. Why aren't they? I know what Mayor Jacob Fry has said, that they are outgunned, to which I say, it's their fucking job. The cops sign on. It's their fucking job. And then I go to, oh, wait. And oftentimes, and this has, again, been a thing, the state and city governments are contracted with the federal government. And it varies from state to state, whatever. They may have a contractual arrangement where they don't get involved. When will the average American be next? I'm not sure what you're talking about exactly. I mean, there was the average American that was shot in the face 3 times by an ICE agent. So is that what you're talking about? I don't know if there is an average American. It's black, brown, women, men. It doesn't matter. I think that, I mean, are we okay with this, right? So another thing that you can do, if you are so inclined, is you can start looking into your local and county jails. So this is interesting. They're not going to, so I think that at least in Minnesota's case, I know that Walz announced that he was saying that he had put them on notice, the National Guard, and that he was ready to mobilize the Minneapolis State Police. And I'm like, I'd rather not get the guard involved. Hey, Bob, it's fucking bleak over here. But, at some point, the cops do have to get in between this, because this is illegal. It's terrorism. And as I've already told you, that every person in the United States of America, whether they are a foreign national or not, has due process rights. Due process rights preclude the federal government, the state government, any government entity from busting in your fucking window on your car while you're pumping gas. So I need people to remember that when we think about, I mean, look at it this way. What if somebody's here on vacation? God help them from out of the country. You know? But that video this morning, I'm like, huh, all right, well, is that young man dead? And how will they know? What I do know about federal detention in Minneapolis is that the majority of them, now federal detention can mean not just ICE, but federal prisoners. There's somewhere called Sandstone Prison, but they also, I think Ramsey County, which is just northeast Minneapolis, has a their jail has a contract with ICE that I think is actually in litigation right now, because people have a say in the budgets, right? Of their counties. And so this is why nerds must rise up and watch all of the county council meetings. Look at the goddamn sheriff's budget. So where are they being held? Because there's contracts. Some prisons, like one I investigated years ago, well, not that many years ago, but several years ago in Iowa, part of the revenue that they had on their projection to present to the Board of Supervisors was from the federal government for detention of ICE detainees from the Minneapolis. Are they there? Are they in Sioux City, Iowa? Who the fuck knows? And that is a humanitarian crisis. You know, look, my semi-competence is in international law. Unfortunately, the United States doesn't recognize fuck all when it comes to international law. Again, we'll see what happens in the Maduro trial, but I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with his consular invocation. Vienna Conventions. Anyway, but it matters because we are right now committing atrocities on our own streets. Because it shouldn't have to be somebody that looks like me that I see getting shot in the head 3 times. In a city that I love, where my daughter lives, to make me give a shit. This is that due process thing that everybody likes to make fun of when it comes to like the Richard Allen case. This is that thing. And I hope people start to realize that and really take that in, because that is what's at stake. And it is, to me, an inflection point for this country. And it has such broad ramifications. Let me see. Hang on. But we are going to go to Iran for killing Is that what they're saying now? Right. I doubt it. But, you know. So let's see. So Minnesota is expecting that ICE won't allow an arrest. There'd be a standoff between cops and agents. It is nightmarish to think about. And I've thought about that. I mean, it's a great question. And I do think it's one that the mayor and the governor have actually addressed. And it is. It's fucking scary as hell. But the alternative is to have citizens, and when I say citizens, I mean residents of, and it's not just Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's like St. Cloud, it's just tiny. It's all these tiny places. then the risk is to the people that live in your community. So I don't know. It's just like, so the cops are just going to watch The Purge? Probably. But there are law enforcement agencies that have come out and said they're not going to fucking stand for it. I know Philadelphia is one of them. The sheriff and the DA or the AD or whatever they call them out there has come out and proactively said that, we're not going to, if you come masked into this city and you break the law, we will arrest you. And so, yeah, 100%. Of course it is. But, I mean, which FBI? Kash Patel's FBI? Or previous FBI's? Because I don't know if it matters. But the bottom line is that there are laws. Nobody is above them. And over the last handful of days, I have watched so many videos of legal observers, which are a thing, being arrested for being on the sidewalk. Now, setting aside the atrocities being committed by our government right now against citizens and non-citizens alike, setting that aside for a moment, you have a legal observer who's been trained to do this, blowing their whistles, which is terrifying, right? Scary. This is interesting. I'm going to mark this because I have an idea. But you're standing there, you're blowing your whistle. You're not doing shit. You're on public fucking property. You're in a walkway. And an ICE agent comes over. If a Minneapolis cop, or if it's here in New York, and say I'm standing there calling this guy a fucking bag of shit. The fuck is wrong with you? You chode, right? Being all the things. But I'm on the sidewalk. I'm not fucking doing shit. If there's a New York City police officer within eyeshot and one of these idiots who's with ICE, who may or may not be trained, who may or may not actually be with ICE, how do we know? Because they drive around in cars without fucking license plates. That was happening in Chicago this summer. How do we know? Show us some ID. But anyway, if a fucking one of these chodes tried to arrest me and wrestle me to the ground, I would fucking hope that a New York City police officer would be like, whoa, dude, let's lower the temperature. Whoa, hey, what's going on here, bud? What did this old bat do? I know she's a pain in the ass, but what's going on, man? I don't know. Cops, I'm no fan of cops. But I'm relying on, I'm really hoping that their, unfulfilled testosterone, wet dreams take over and they get pissy about their territory, right? Maybe that'll do something. So there are mechanisms in place that they can, what happened with Pritzker? Didn't Pritzker just offer, I don't know how this would work. I mean, interstate compacts exist between state police, but he went on to say that he would offer Walz, Governor Walz, the Illinois State Police. And I'm like, fucking say it send him then, right? So the thing about the SCOTUS says Trump is above the law, right? Which is why you need to arrest these motherfuckers on state charges, right? I mean, jaywalking. Why not? Do it, maybe intervene before they if they have a park. I mean, look, parking tickets. Let's let's get the meter maids out there. Whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter. To me, it's like we know where these motherfuckers are. We know where they post up. It's at the whatever center. God damn it. I can't remember what it's called. The Whipple Federal Building in Minneapolis, outside of Minneapolis. So, start having cops patrol that area. Start issuing, I don't know, put some clamps on tires. Get creative out there. Get creative. Why the fuck not? I mean, we've all seen the video of some hero tow truck driver towing an ICE vehicle away. Get creative. Right? I live in a border state. Have spent a lot of time at the border coast and never seen ICE out in the wild ever. Right. Uh-huh. Yeah. Correct. I mean, this administration, I don't know. I mean, I think that I think that this has always been under the surface. I think maybe this is the orange scab, felonious adjudicated rapist, who apparently is a better whatever. Don't even get me started. People in these parts would feel so much differently if it was our nowhere towns being invaded by ICE. Do you think so? I mean, I honestly don't know. Oh, the DAR. Oh God. No. Right. You know what's interesting too, woman, is the other day, God, I'll have to go back through the video, but the other day, one of these chodes in ICE in Minnesota was, roughing somebody up. And, they have their faces covered because they're so proud of what they do and have, pride in knowing that they're goose stepping to their dear leader. And his face mask thing. Oh, wait, hang on. There she is. Oh. Had a skull on it. Right? I mean, that could be government issue. I mean, who knows? All I know is that one of their dear leaders, Kristi Noem, shot her own fucking puppy. What do we expect from these people? So you say, I don't know, tiny hometown, Southern Colorado got run through by ICE. Do you have any meatpacking plants? Because that's what happened. Well, in Iowa, where I'm from, there were a bunch of ICE raids. But anyway, it's typically in meatpacking plant towns. And, it's not just Hispanics. There's a lot of actually Africans working in Southeast Iowa, some of the plants. Obviously, they're coming for the Somali population in Minnesota. But yeah, I don't know. What do you expect from a terrible, no good, rubber-faced dog killer? Mm. Um, hmm. So, uh, let's see. I think I actually posted something from something that was helpful. I posted something on X about, oh, I don't know, something just to this point, Fig, where there are some studies into the politics of fear mongering. That's another thing. So this is how I'm going to wrap up because I do have to head downtown and do some shit. But when people say that they don't want to get political or that they aren't political, that's political. Choosing to sit by and act like law isn't in fact political in its nature, is disingenuous at best, and straight bullshit at least, or at worst. Because all things are politics. All things are local, right? We know this. We just do. So the pearl clutching over talking about the political questions or policy questions do absolutely cross over into the realm of conflict of laws and state, federal, international, whatever. The law of war. What the fuck are we doing de facto invading a country, all of these things. But at its core, laws ain't nothing but what are legislated, right? Plus the Constitution, such as it is, barely hanging on by fingernails. Yeah, but I think that you cannot, to say that you don't talk about politics right now means that you don't vote, you don't go to city council meetings, or you don't call your local supervisor and complain about the ruts in your road. I mean, politics is everywhere. I mean, it is. Some of it, a lot of it ain't great, but being part of a civil society means necessarily engaging with the political world. And you can do that how you choose or not. But for me, I keep saying to people, please find your immigration observation organization near you. If you can, usually the trainings only take, it depends on what you're doing. If you're going to be a street observer or courtroom observer or a friend of the court, or if you're a lawyer, you can become a pro bono observer and you can do it from WebEx. There's lots of alternatives at immigration courts around the country, and there needs to be more eyes on it. Find that place in your state. And they offer trainings, for better or worse. A lot of it is run through Catholic immigrant organizations because that's kind of their deal. The one I'm a part of is not, but there's plenty out there. And if you can, show up and observe, make just a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be a lot. And if you're not comfortable with that, just, I think people being aware of what's going on in our world around us, and having people that are willing to be witnesses and able to be witnesses, it's important. And I think that, I don't know, man, I watched Heather Cox Richardson, who is a historian. She's great. She's on YouTube. Brilliant. And she did a video last week about like, and she doesn't use fascism or totalitarianism lightly. And I appreciate that about people. But she laid out the case last week, and I don't have the link, so you'd have to look her up, Heather Cox Richardson. And she put her finger on the part last week when she felt like, okay, we are now at the point where the government is actually telling us we are not seeing what we're seeing with our own eyes in regards to the very public shooting of Renee Good. And that to her was a sort of switching point. Not the state sanctioned violence. My God, we've been killing people left, right, and center all over this country since we fucking brought disease and plunder to the shores. But in her opinion, it was that blatant lying by, in part, the evil Teddy Ruxpin McEyebrows or McEyeliner, couch fucker McGee, that said she was a terrorist. She did this to herself. These are not the droids you are looking for. And so, oh, you've been watching. Oh, great. Oh, great. Yeah. So last week she did a, what do you call it? She did a show about that kind of inflection point where this numbnuts got up and said, don't believe your own eyes. And Mother Drag, yes, local governments. Absolutely. But yeah, so anyway, this was not what yes, that is the Orwellian. Yeah. Yep. I fully expect tomorrow to wake up as a cockroach. If you get that reference, please let me know. But otherwise, I got to get the fuck out of here. And as always, I hate you guys. Believe.